How's it everyone, this is Lolcohol, and in today's video I'm going to be giving you an update on the Doomslayer Deadeye. At this point I am level 91, the build continues to overperform and I have done most tier 4 bosses. I've done Arbiter and not Uber Arbiter but King of the Mist tier 4 and Zesh tier 4. I'm going to still do the new Olroth, but the build is just, it keeps going and it's still great, and this patch is even better than before. This version of the build though, I have made a few changes. First big thing is that we are actually not using Painter's Servants anymore. The reason for this is that actually leaning fully into fire damage because of the new Fire Penetration 2 support, it just makes a lot of sense because this says hits from supported skills ignore enemy fire resistance. This is just super strong. This is one of the reasons that Coming Calamity is really good. Enemies in your presence have no elemental resistance. It functions, I assume it functions in a very similar way where it just assumes that the enemies have no fire resistance. So because of this, going full fire makes a lot of sense. However, one thing is that we still want to be able to shock enemies, and not only for the increased damage, but to proc our Herald of Thunder. And in order to do that, we can make use of the 3 Dragons Helmet. This makes it so that fire damage from hits contributes to shock chance. So without fire damage, we're shocking, and that's proccing our Herald of Thunder and just giving us a nice extra chunk of damage on bosses. Most of the other gear is similar. I am using this very nice Crossbow. This is surprisingly easy to make. I have a guide on it that I will link in the description, but the rest of the gear is pretty similar. We're just dropping Painter's Servant and the helmet. One other big change with the build is that I have changed to long distance instead of toe-to-toe. With the new Abyss mechanic, it's very scary. This build isn't actually dying very often at all, but I still want to stay further back. So instead of going point blank with our proximity specialization, we're going far shot. This means that we're instead playing from distance. And then this also means that instead of using point blank anywhere on the build, we are instead using long shot 2. So this double dips into that distance damage multiplier. Other than that, a lot of the gems are all up on mobilytics, but the most important thing is just this Fire Penetration 2. Fire Mastery, you could instead swap out for Fire Attunement if you're primarily just dealing fire damage. That actually could be a much better gem here, but if you still have some scraps of like lightning and cold damage, test it out, see what works better. One thing you can do with Explosive Shot, I'm currently using Rapid Attacks, Nimble Reload, and Magnified Area, but some people have been using Ratha's Assault, which is a new lineage support gem that allows you to reload your crossbow by rolling. I didn't really like this playstyle, so I have dropped it. Another thing I've dropped is Trinity. So Trinity, it is very strong, but it's just such a pain in the butt to balance out, and this setup that I have now it's comparable without the same level of finicky that you have to do to set up Trinity. So I've taken that out. If you are playing the Coming Calamity version, you probably do want to still use Trinity, but just know that you need to balance out your Trinity to get the full effects out of it. Then another thing, you can use this if you want, I really like it, is Rapid Shot. So if we use Rapid Shot linked with Rigwald's Ferocity, Rapid Attacks 3, and Streamlined Rounds, we're able to build up heat very quickly, which we can then use to get 50% as extra fire damage on our explosive grenade. Super nice. The other gems are all there. You can check them out on mobilytics. Previously, I was also using a companion, but that guy got removed from the game. The guy who gave you 25% increased attack speed and movement speed, he's gone. And then looking over at the tree, few changes, but nothing major. One thing is Primal Sundering isn't that good anymore if we are ignoring enemy resistances. Penetration can't go below 0%, so taking this out just makes sense. Then instead you can put those points into something like Inspiring Ally. Increase in reductions to companion damage also applies to you, so these 5 points are 80% increased damage. I've also included some anti-slow stuff like Unhindered and Freedom of Movement. I've also taken out Coming Calamity because without using Triple Herald, this isn't really worth the points. You could put it in if you've still got like a decent amount of lightning damage, but 3 points for that, 40% increase, it's okay. But I feel like we have enough damage. So instead speccing into stuff like deflection over here with the Wildcat. And then you can also go for train deflection. I'm not 100% sure these 5 points are worth it, but it is pretty good. It is 24% deflection rating and prevents 6% of damage from deflected hits. So it's decent. The rest of it is all up there for you. But one other thing to talk about is the Coming Calamity. A few people have asked about this, and I've deliberately not updated this part of the guide because there's so much other stuff to test, and there's so much stuff that I think is actually better that I don't really plan on using it this league. I have added some notes in here, so if you do want to test it, you can. I think it is probably still very good, but there's other things that are more interesting to me. So if you're at this point, just check out the gems on the other sections to update that. I am in fact just about to test a new version of the builds using the new helmet, Constricting command, and these gloves, and leaning into lightning damage. So that is the next step of the build. So check it out. I'll be live on Twitch testing this out, and we can see how it goes. But so far, this feels very, very good. However, this helmet is quite expensive. So I will do an update on this version. But for now, stick with the Doomslayer Deadeye. I am pretty sure that this current later endgame version is, I mean, it does everything it needs to. It's tanky, great single target, great clear. If you want to make some tweaks on it, go for it. You can also use this Nama Who's Chosen. This is something that's, don't know how expensive it is. I just found it, but it's very nice for granting rage for a little bit of extra damage. So check out the guide. It's linked in the description. I'll be live on stream. That's going to be it. Have a wonderful day. Stay safe. Catch you in the next video, and bye-bye.